It's your boy TJ Blaze. He ended up about to do another reaction thing, and what I'm about to react to is a video by Black Stories Untold, and the name and title of this video is called "The Four Black Stereotypes That Are Actually Real." Now, I've been talking about this amongst my people because it's still a lot of stereotypes that's going on around this world. We would thought that it would be gone, abolished, or whatever, but it's still here and this by the time in this year 2026, which is crazy. So please like, comment, share, most support, and subscribe. Let's get to the reaction, shall we?
Black stereotype in America explained. You know them, you've seen them. These caricatures white America built to either worship us or destroy us. Sometimes both at the same time. But here's the thing. Behind every stereotype is a truth they twisted, an excellence they feared, a power they tried to cage. Type 1, the super athlete. First up, the Black Titan, the superhuman athlete, the unstoppable force. Michael Jordan, defying gravity in a way that made grown men cry. Serena Williams dominating tennis for 2 decades while being told she was too aggressive, too muscular, too much.
I had to pause it, and I know it just only meant 39 seconds already. But when it came to Serena, when it came to her, they was going off. To me, I liked when she had that body she had before. She was thick, fine, attractive, but everybody had other opinions. Everybody's opinions varied, and based off the coverage and how people were speaking on the internet, changed her perspective. Now, people were trying to say, we don't know if she did it for herself, for her appearance, because she looking completely different. But enough from each channel. Let's get back to it.
Usain Bolt shattering world records in the 100-meter dash. 9.58 seconds that physicists said shouldn't be possible. LeBron James playing at an MVP level at 40 years old, still carrying teams on his back. Black excellence in sports is documented, undeniable. We've transformed our bodies into instruments of power through discipline and mental toughness. We've mastered the grind under hostile crowds, racist owners, and media praying for our failure. But white America looked at this dominance and crafted a lie, the natural athlete myth. Let's trace this poison back to its roots. In the 1800s, white scientists practiced phrenology, measuring black skulls to prove racial inferiority. Samuel Morton collected hundreds of skulls, literally filling them with seed to measure brain capacity. His conclusion? Black people had smaller brains, which meant less intelligence, but bodies designed for labor. This pseudoscience justified slavery. After emancipation, it justified segregation. When sports began integrating in the mid-1900s, these racist beliefs simply evolved. Jackie Robinson broke baseball's color barrier in 1947. He endured death threats, pitchers throwing at his head, and teammates who refused to play with him. When he succeeded, batting .297 in his rookie year and stealing home 19 times in his career, white sports writers couldn't say he worked harder.
I forgot the name of the player, but he wasn't really the first black baseball player, but he's the first black baseball player that made baseball popular for our kind. So the first that made it big, made it known, and what the league was before, because they changed the name. So yeah.
Or studied the game.
Yeah, that end was powerful, calling it the Negro lead and all that stuff. So the nigga lead. No ER though, no ER. I'm not gonna say the ER.
Better. Instead, they emphasized his natural speed and instinctive base running. Jump to 1988. Jimmy the Greek Snyder, a CBS sports commentator, went on television on Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday and said black athletes were superior because slave owners bred us like racehorses. His exact words, the slave owner would breed his big black with his big woman so that he could have a big black kid. He said this on national television. CBS fired him. But the
Great.
damage revealed something deeper. This is what white America believed. They saw our athletic dominance and couldn't accept that we simply outworked everyone else. Then there's racial stacking, a term sociologists use to describe how black athletes get funneled into positions emphasizing physicality, while white players occupy thinking positions. In football, black athletes play running back, wide receiver, and defensive back. White players become quarterbacks, centers, and middle linebackers, the positions calling plays and
All the positions that they technically safe. So we're the ones that sacrificing and protecting, you know. That's insane. We basically still trying to be the protectors, the defenders of people that don't like us. For those who clean their door, they are amazed, but they are just trying to look at our people a certain way. It's fucking insane when you put all this together.
reading defenses. A 2019 study in the Sociology of Sport journal analyzed 25 years of NFL data. It found that, even when controlling for performance metrics, white quarterbacks received preferential treatment in draft position, starting opportunities,
Yep.
and career longevity.
And that was the thing. I have a few quarterbacks that I love that was white, like Brett Favre, Tom Brady, but also Kirk Warner. A lot of quarterbacks, and I love my black quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, all that stuff. But when it came to them, especially Tom Brady, the favoritism that man got, that's all I gotta say. And we all witnessed that. People who deep dive and look into NFL and all that stuff, we know who had those privileges. For a lot of the black stars, they didn't. It just varied. It depends. It definitely depends. But yeah.
The researchers called it positional segregation. But let's be clear, it's racism. Media coverage reinforces this. Researchers at the University of Missouri analyzed 3,000 televised NFL games. When commentators discussed white players, 62% of language emphasized intelligence, work ethic, and leadership.
Yep.
For black players, 78% of commentary focused on physical attributes: speed, strength, explosiveness, raw athleticism. This happens in 2025 on ESPN, on Fox
Selective
Sports,
criticism.
everywhere.
Minus.
And when black athletes gain consciousness and speak out, white America reveals its true feelings. Colin Kaepernick took a knee in 2016 to protest police brutality. He consulted with Nate Boyer, a Green Beret and former NFL long snapper, who suggested kneeling as the most respectful form of protest. Kaepernick kneeled quietly during the anthem. He committed no crime. He hurt no one. The NFL blackballed him.
Yep.
He hasn't played since 2016, despite leading his team to the Super Bowl just 3 years earlier. The president called him a son of a... White fans burned his jersey in parking lots. They said he disrespected the military,
Yeah.
even though it was a veteran's idea. Muhammad Ali refused to fight in Vietnam in 1967, saying, "No Viet Cong ever called me nigger." The government stripped his heavyweight title. They banned him from boxing for 3.5 years, his athletic prime. They tried to imprison him for 5 years. He lost millions in earnings.
Yep.
His crime? Refusing to kill people who never oppressed him while his own country terrorized black citizens. The Black Titan is celebrated only when silent, only when useful, only when entertaining without challenging. The moment consciousness emerges, he becomes expendable. Before we continue, drop a comment right now.
Okay. And this one, I'm going to give my input. This shows you that you will have to kiss their ass to get what they think you deserve, but knowing why you're sacrificing yourself into something that you love, which is insane how it works. They have people that fall into that loop, and then some people that fight, for their dignity. It's insane how this world works based on favoritism, capitalism, you name it. And a lot of people are starting to see that it's not fair. It's not meant for us. It's just meant for their pleasure. And it's still going on to this day. to this day that we witnessing all of this.
What stereotype did I miss? What truth about Black excellence needs to be told? Let's build this
That's a
together.
lot.
And hit that
Definitely a lot.
subscribe button because we're just getting started. The Flavor Maker, the cook who transforms scraps into feasts, the chef who makes you taste home in a single bite. Edna Lewis wrote The Taste of Country Cooking in 1976, preserving centuries of Black Southern culinary tradition that was disappearing. Leah Chase ran Dookie Chase's restaurant in New Orleans for 70 years, feeding Freedom Riders in the back room while the Klan burned crosses outside. Sylvia Woods opened Sylvia's in Harlem in 1962, creating a cultural landmark where everyone from tourists to presidents came to eat. Then there are the countless Black grandmothers who never wrote recipes down, but could taste when the seasoning was right, who could take a ham hock, collard greens, and cornbread and turn it into Sunday dinner that felt like church. This archetype represents worst cuts, intestines, feet, ears, tails, organ meats white people discarded. They got vegetable scraps and cheap cornmeal. This was intentional degradation. Our ancestors took these ingredients and created cuisine. They slow-cooked chitlins until tender. They seasoned and fried chicken. They braised collard greens with pot liquor. They made cornbread, black-eyed peas, sweet potato pie. They preserved West African culinary traditions, okra,
Love me a good
yams,
potato pies,
rice
fried
cultivation techniques,
but
and
not in that
adapted them
context,
to
like,
American
because you know where
ingredients.
you are.
Food became resistance, survival, culture on a plate. But in the late 1800s, as Black people gained freedom and began building economic independence, white America weaponized our food against us. Fried chicken and watermelon became minstrel props. Postcards from the 1900s to 1930s depicted Black people as buffoons, gorging on chicken and watermelon, eyes bulging, grease dripping. These images appeared in advertisements, cartoons, and popular media. The message? Black people are primitive, gluttonous, childlike, uncivilized.
It's ridiculous.
Why these foods specifically? Because they were affordable and accessible to freed Black people building new lives. Chickens were
So it was just cheap, affordable, and just scraps. Just because they think like, okay, we don't deserve what they deserve, so let's feed them less. And then it sucks that the fact of being creative with scraps or anything else, it became a problem. And took the ideas of what our people, my people created, which is crazy. That's what I'm saying. It's still to this day, supply and demand. And they took a lot of ideas. It's just that, remember, some of our people wasn't too smart. They didn't know about trademarks and all the other stuff. But the people that was educated and they found out about certain things, they wasn't falling for those strategies. They seen the loopholes and they won. But for those people that could have had like tons of success, I feel sorry for them because it could have been so much. But still to the day that I'm glad that some people found a success and have a story to tell and make and make those keepers mad. Yes, that's what I call them. And that's what one of my friends said as well, calling them keeblers. Because it just sucks that as far as being humans, we can't just proceed through life. Everybody get equal opportunity, a share, a dose of something, something good. Something that it just make you realize, you human. Not an animal, nothing different. But just because of a skin tone. It's insane. That's just wicked. But back to the video.
were cheap to raise. Watermelons grew easily in the South. Seeing Black people experience joy, something as simple as enjoying food, threatened white supremacy.
Music.
So they turned that joy into mockery.
Yep.
This violence continues today through appropriation and systemic food apartheid. Major restaurant chains built empires on soul food while erasing its origins. KFC, Popeyes, Chick-fil-A, billion-dollar corporations selling fried chicken developed by Black cooks. Meanwhile, Black chefs remain largely invisible in fine dining.
Yep.
When white chefs discover collard greens or cornbread, food critics call it innovative. They win James Beard Awards. When black chefs cook traditional soul food, it gets labeled urban or niche, industry code for not worthy of acclaim. Sean Brock, a white Southern chef, built his career on reviving heirloom Southern ingredients and cooking techniques. He's won multiple James Beard Awards. The techniques and ingredients he uses, developed by enslaved Africans and their descendants. He's received praise for elevating Southern food, as if it needed elevation, as if it wasn't already sophisticated. The flavor.
Hold on. And that's another thing, just like I was stating before, because this is all facts behind it, right? It shows it shows so much of who they trying to imitate and hate at the same time. How can you do that? How can you like and dislike something? I understand about actions you might dislike about somebody, but it's the fact of what y'all favor, what y'all idolize, and y'all still point the finger to blame and dislike and hate somebody. So you're gonna just cover your tracks, cover your hatred behind somebody. Like, yeah, I don't like this and that music, but you playing it at home. You saying like, yeah, I don't like this area, but you going to these places eating the food. How dare you? Like, how dare you?
Makers survived slavery by transforming rations into art, by preserving African culinary traditions through oral knowledge, by making flavor an act of defiance. And white America responded by mocking us, stealing from us, and then blaming us for the health crisis they manufactured. Type 3, the Holy Fire. The Holy Fire, the church mother, the preacher,
Oh boy.
the spiritual warrior carrying generations on their shoulders while still lifting hands in praise. Martin Luther King Jr. standing in the pulpit at Ebenezer Baptist Church, voice shaking the walls, calling down justice from heaven. Mahalia Jackson singing gospel so powerful it moved mountains, literally inspiring MLK's I Have a Dream speech when she shouted from the crowd, "Tell them about the dream, Martin!" Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, who learned to sing in her father's church before ever touching a secular stage. But it's not just the famous ones. It's church mothers who pray for the neighborhood every morning, Sunday school teachers keeping stories alive, choir directors training voices for free, deacons organizing, strategizing, keeping lights on, pastors eulogizing the dead, marrying the living, fighting for justice in the streets. The Black church represents deep, unshakable, generational faith, the kind that carried us through the Middle Passage, slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, mass incarceration, and every terror in between. The Black church wasn't just a building. It was fortress, hospital, school, and war room combined. This is where the civil rights movement was born, where Fannie Lou Hamer sang freedom songs while recovering from beatings by Mississippi police, where Ella Baker organized the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, where John Lewis found courage to march across Edmund Pettus Bridge, where communities gathered after every lynching, every massacre, every injustice, and said, "We will not break." White America mocked this from the beginning.
So strong to hear.
During slavery, white owners initially banned African religious practices. Drums were illegal because they facilitated communication and potential rebellion. But as Christianity spread among enslaved people, owners allowed, even encouraged it. They believed.
Oh man. Now when it's a discussion about religion, you have to be very cautious of who you talk to, because some people that don't even understand why this happened and what the the separation that it caused amongst people, especially my people. It caused so much division that it was to a point that it took people years to realize that church wasn't the way. It was for community and stuff like that, but then some people started seeing that people had different point of view, different perspectives, and some people was non-believers. It was just some people was there for the money. Some people was there to still commit these sins because they was lustful. It was a multiple and a multitude of things that was happening. But with Christianity, they just make people believe that, oh, this is how y'all supposed to be. This way you're supposed to believe. So a lot of the stuff was just naturally forced, and it was insane because a lot of people were born into this and say, "Yeah, I'm a Christian." Why? Why are you a Christian? Do you know why you're a Christian? They would just go based off they are this, they are that, without even understanding what a Christian is. It just falls into it, and it could be so many things that the person could do because it's really a choice of what you practice and what your beliefs are. And people just fall into this whole thing of them being Christian because every black person I always ever hear they Christian. I would never hear somebody say they're Buddhist, they're Catholic. It's rare to hear that. But all I can say, it caused a lot of division, and a lot of people start seeing truth behind the churches and everything. So,
Believed religion would make us docile. If we believed in heavenly rewards, we'd accept earthly suffering. They were catastrophically wrong. We transformed Christianity into liberation theology.
yep,
Spirituals like Swing Low, Sweet Chariot weren't about
changed the
death.
whole
They
meaning.
were codes for the Underground Railroad. Wade in the Water wasn't about baptism. It taught escapees to run through rivers so dogs couldn't track their scent. Go Down Moses explicitly called for Pharaoh, slave owners, to let God's people go. We weaponized worship. After slavery, as black churches became community centers and economic hubs, white America's mockery intensified. Minstrel shows in the late 1800s portrayed black preachers as illiterate buffoons who spoke broken English and performed for laughs. These shows toured nationally, embedding this caricature in white American consciousness. The trope of the emotional, shouting black preacher became shorthand for dismissing black intellectual and spiritual life. When black ministers spoke with passion, white observers called it hysteria, rather than recognizing prophetic tradition rooted in centuries of African and Christian practice. But mockery wasn't enough.
Yeah, and the mockery was so bad. Like, we know for my people, it wasn't nothing funny. This was something for empowerment, encouragement, uplifting, and feeding into the spirit, the soul, the mind, body, and soul, right? And the mockeries just keep going on. It made a lot of these keeblers money for the fact of them being so infatuated with our culture. It's insane. They were so infatuated, so fixated about the culture, the lifestyle, and everything that it made them millions to billions to trillions of dollars. And how people didn't get rewarded. It was only rewarded in certain ways, and in the ways that it was rewarded, it was mostly out of pity. It was mostly out of for the fact of them being entertained. So it felt like it was right, but it wasn't no passion, no love behind it. It's pure mockery.
The black church became the organizational backbone of civil rights. White America escalated to terrorism. The FBI's COINTELPRO program, revealed through leaked documents in 1971, showed systematic government surveillance and disruption of black churches and civil rights organizations. The FBI infiltrated churches, planted informants, spread false rumors to create internal conflicts, and worked to neutralize leaders like Dr. King. Even today, when black ministers speak on social justice, white commentators dismiss it as playing politics or just the emotional black church, as if our faith isn't intellectual, as if our theology isn't rooted in liberation, as if James Cone's Black liberation theology isn't one of the most rigorous theological frameworks in modern Christianity. They want us to worship quietly, to sing about heaven while forgetting earth. to pray without demanding justice. The holy fire terrifies them because it cannot be controlled.
Yep.
You cannot buy faith. You cannot legislate spirit. Finally, the groove keeper, the one who feels rhythm before the beat drops, the one who turns sound into soul. Prince bending genres while playing 27 instruments and making rock critics lose their minds. Stevie Wonder, creating symphonies that changed music forever. Superstition, isn't she lovely? Living for the city.
Anger.
Marvin Gaye
Anger after anger.
transforming pain into protest with What's Going On.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Dilla, crafting beats so complex they're now studied in university music theory courses. Chuck Berry invented rock and roll guitar. Sister Rosetta Tharpe played electric guitar in the 1930s before Elvis was born. Little Richard screamed and pounded piano keys, creating the sonic blueprint for rock. James Brown birthed funk and gave us the foundation for hip-hop. This isn't natural rhythm. This is mastery. Black people created jazz, blues, rock and roll, hip-hop, R&B, funk, gospel,
Every
house
genre.
music, and techno. We
Every
didn't contribute
genre.
to American music. We are American music. But white America looked at this creativity and proceeded to systematically steal it. In the 1950s,
Yep. Let me just say this. The fact of all the creations, right? And the lack of ownership was the problem with the community. But even when they got to the point like Russell Simmons and all that stuff, they have a Def Jam. It was certain labels that was black owned. Like for even for Bad Boy, right? We gotta give Diddy his credit. No, we know the situation. As they calling that man diddler and all that other stuff. Yeah. But besides all that, for his creativity, his style, his swag, all that, he got his credit. He had those bangers. And he brought a lot of artists to the day that people still love, still play, and all that stuff, right? And yeah, it was just the lack of ownership. And they, known for the white people, the Keeblers, right? They found a way. They know what to do, how to break or make people. And the idea of just taking, as the word colonizing, right? Stealing ideas. Because when Elvis came out, they just had to find the idea of, oh, we could use a white man to gravitate to a white audience to make people like his music. Even though some of my people, like the Elvis. But it's just crazy that everything had to be taken for all the stuff. But hear me on this. Every artist that was white that took a style, right, which we know it originated from, we actually enjoyed the music, even though we know what they stole. Even though they probably had a passion behind it, they loved the artist, they loved the rhythm, they loved the sounds, and that was cool. But it's just the fact of give credit while it's due. With no malice, no hate, no remorse, none of that. So it's a lot behind it. We just look at it like give people what they owe. Give them the credit. Give them the respect. It don't gotta be about liking, but it's just about the credit.
Pat Boone built his career covering songs by black artists. He took Little Richard's Tutti Frutti, removed the sensual energy and black vernacular, and sold it to white audiences.
Yep, see?
His sanitized version charted higher and made more money. The same happened with Ain't That a Shame, originally by Fats Domino, and dozens of other songs. The industry called this smoothing rough edges.
Definitely not. Because this is a thing that's actually happening now with my kind, and they was sample, right? But the samples is still showing, its inspiration is giving, what's the word? It's giving that support and showing that like they love the artist of who they sampling, right? Paying homage. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, they're paying homage to the artist, and that's it. But you got these people that's stealing. They just saying, yeah, we could do this and do that because y'all don't know this, y'all don't know the rights. about copyrights and all that other stuff. And it's like he's saying they're not giving credit while it's due because they lack of knowledge and stuff like that.
Removing blackness. Elvis Presley became the king of rock and roll by performing music created by black artists. His early hits borrowed heavily from Arthur Crudup, That's All Right, Willie Mae Thornton, Hound Dog, and others. Elvis himself acknowledged his debt to black musicians, but the industry and white audiences crowned him king while original artists remained poor and unknown.
Yep.
Led Zeppelin committed outright theft. They recorded Willie Dixon's You Need Love and renamed it Whole Lotta Love without credit. They took Howlin' Wolf's Killing Floor and called it The Lemon Song. They lifted from Muddy Waters,
No credit due. I'm sorry for pausing the video, but I have to give my takes. I have to always claim that, state that, for y'all to understand. That's why I will leave the original video down below so you can watch it with no pause, no commentary, and everything else, all right? But this is what I was saying before, is no credit, no love, no respect. Why y'all do this? Because if we do that, it's going to be all hell break loose. It's going to be controversy after controversy, which this causes all the time. But if we do it, it's not fair. It's not right because they always got the right to do everything. It's just though, that card.
White and others. When sued, they settled quietly and kept the millions they'd made. The pattern continues today. In hip-hop, white artists receive disproportionate recognition. Macklemore won Best Rap Album at the 2014 Grammys over Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City, an album critics and fans considered a masterpiece. Macklemore himself texted Kendrick saying he was rocked, but the industry's message was clear. The safe, white version of rap gets rewarded. The Grammys gave Adele Album of the Year in 2017 over Beyoncé's Lemonade, a visual album exploring black womanhood, infidelity, Southern roots, police brutality, and generational trauma. Adele said in her acceptance speech that Beyoncé deserved it, but the Recording Academy chose the white artist anyway. The power of the Groove Keeper extends beyond entertainment. During slavery, drums were banned in many American colonies after the 1739 Stono Rebellion in South Carolina, where enslaved Africans used drums to coordinate an uprising. Slaveholders recognized that rhythm facilitated communication and organization. We responded by putting the beat in our feet, our claps, our voices. We created new forms, field hollers, work songs, ring shouts. You cannot silence rhythm when it lives in the body. The Black Titan, the Flavor Maker, the Holy Fire, the Groove Keeper. 4 archetypes rooted in our excellence. 4 truths they twisted into weapons. 4 powers they tried to control, mock, steal, and silence. Every time they tried to diminish us, we transformed their weapons into armor. Every time they tried to silence us, we found new frequencies. Every time they tried to starve us, we created feasts. Every time they tried to kill our faith, we resurrected it stronger. We are infinite. Let's continue this conversation and subscribe to Black Stories Untold. We're just getting started, uncovering the truths they tried to bury.
Man, that was a good, informative, educational video. And I had to give my takes. I know a lot of times I might have been sounding a little off because I had to think about things. And yeah, this shows you a lot about the history and the disrespect towards my community. It is bad, but they know. The Keeblers know who are powerful, who brought, a lot of energy, a lot of presence into the world. And we're not trying to say, oh, who's better, who this and that, who's superior. But y'all know they know what my people did. And that's why for people, my people speaking up, for the people that was trying to make them understand, like, yo, we are human, right? We are more than expected. And y'all know. But that's my message right there. They know what we mean to this world and what they want it to be like, but cause the mockery, trying to joke, trying to play the fool, and make it seem like everybody is gonna make a belittle. Is the only reason why I'm out of words, because it's so much to process, it's so much to think about. Because it's sad to see what this was throughout those times, and what's kind of still going on to this day. With slight privileges, slight fairness, because everything is slightly. But if y'all like this video, like, comment, and share. Most importantly, subscribe. And also check out Black Stories Untold. Got some good videos. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.